Alright, so today I'm going to talk about something I had to learn in a very hard way. Like, not just a hard way, it shattered my soul. Now, when I talk about it, it might not sound like a very big deal, but believe me, when you're in that position and it's happening, it fucking sucks, right? So, I've mentioned about my distribution business multiple times in previous videos, right? But I've never really gone to the specifics of it, like what really happened, who are my customers, my suppliers, where did I buy from, who I sold to, and all of that. So, before I get into that, right? You got to understand the distribution business I had was when I was in college, and it was mainly energy drinks. And those energy drinks I supplied to different canteens and food courts inside the college campus. So there was this food court one, food court two, and different small canteens right next to classes and departments, right? So my biggest buyer was this food court one people, right? And he owned multiple other food courts. Like this one guy owned that food court and multiple other food courts and also small canteens outside the campus. So he had this significant amount of leverage over me, saying, you got to give your product to me at a price I want, or I'm not going to take from you. And I've always heard that if you're not willing to walk away in a negotiation, you've already lost. So when you're negotiating with someone over something, you have to be willing to walk away from it, because if you're not willing to walk away, that means the other person has something you want and you're not walking away from it. So they will do everything in their power to get what they want, even if it means you're at a loss. And you'll have to agree to that, because they have what you want. So I was supplying my energy drinks to this canteen for a while, right? And it was going well. I was like, okay, like fantastic. I'm giving it to all of these canteens of his, and then boom, like a couple months later, the manager of all the food courts like calls me and he's like, the boss wants to see you. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he wants to give me more canteens, or maybe he's really happy with how the energy drinks was performing, because it was moving pretty well, and especially when there are other brands like Coca-Cola, Thumbs Up, Pepsi, Mirinda, or Gatorade, and other juices, right? It's pretty cool when your product is actually moving so fast, especially when your product is new in the market. It's a startup, no one knows about it, and people are hearing it from you. So people knew like, oh shit, like you're the guy with the energy drink. I was like, yeah, yeah, I am. And it was just a very cool thing, and also making a bit of money from it. So it was going great until the manager called and he was like, the boss wants to see you. So I went, I like, yo, boss, what's up? He like said, and the worst part is these big guys, right? They never show it on the face that they have leverage over you. They are very nice about it, very calm about it, and they say it with a fucking smile. So he sat me down and he was like, "Yeah, the products are moving well. Summer season's coming up." I'm like, "Yeah, summer season's coming up. We're gonna make some money, baby." And then he's like, "So here's the deal. I was giving it to them at 17 rupees a bottle, and the MRP was 20, so they were making 3 rupees a bottle, right?" And he was like, "See, I need it for 16." And it might not sound like a lot because it's only 1 rupee less, but in terms of the profit margins of mine and his, it makes a significant difference, especially for me. Not so much for him, but for me, it really does. Because he was one of my only customers and my biggest actually. Because, like I said, he had multiple restaurants, not restaurants, canteens and food courts, right? So I was like, see, man, 16 is really not possible because I was getting at 15 at the time. Later, because I struck a deal with my supplier, I got it down to 13. But at the time, I was getting it for only 15 rupees a bottle. So 2 rupees was my margin. And this dude wanted to cut my margin by 50%. So from 2 rupees, I'd get only 1 rupee. And I'm like, look, I can't do 16. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe max I can do is like, I can strike up some scheme where you take 10 bottles, I give you 1 bottle free. So for every crate you take, I give you 10 bottles free. He's like, no, fuck your schemes and all that. You give it to me for 16, or I'm not taking it from you at all. You have 1 day. I was like, fuck. Well, I didn't let him know, right? I was like, okay, cool. I'll think about it. I'll let you know. Even though I was sweating balls, like, he knew that, okay? Like, he knew because I was, what, 19 at the time or barely 19. So he knew that like he's got me by the ball. So I was like, okay, shit. We'll see. So I went back home. I did the math. I was like, okay, it would almost not make sense for me to run my business if I actually gave it to him for 16. So I called the manager. I was like, look, man, 16.5 is the best I could do, and I'll barely be breaking even. Also, taking care of other expenses and all of that. So you're like, no, 16 or nothing. So then I called him back an hour later. I was like, okay, fine, 16. But then, sure enough, sometime later, what happened was I was not making any profits, and I had to make a decision like, okay, do I stay in this town and grow my business, or do I leave and go elsewhere and work on something else? So I had to make a decision of, okay, you know what, like this business is not working out, and I had to walk away. And this was only because I failed at that negotiation. Now, it's not about the price, it's not about who's got more leverage, it's not about the power, it's about how you negotiate. I wasn't willing to walk away from the negotiation. I couldn't tell, okay, you know what, I'm not going to give you my product. Summer season's coming up, people are loving my product. I could have sold much, much more, and he could have also made a lot of money had he not been so greedy. But he didn't give a fuck because he had coke and all whatnot, right? But because I failed the negotiation, I essentially had to shut down my business a couple months later. So, all I'm saying is, learn how to negotiate, and that's one thing working in sales has taught me, right? Because after that I worked in a couple of sales positions as well, and just had to like put my skills to the test and got rejected a lot. Worked on my negotiation skills, and that's what I realized, like, okay, shit, like negotiation is very important, and sales is a fantastic skill to have. It's not just for sales, but it's not just for insurance, mutual fund, or real estate agents, right? Everyone should know how to sell, because every day you negotiate in life, right? Be it with your parents, your neighbor, your sister, your friends, your driver, whoever it is. There's some sort of negotiation happening where he wants something you have and you want something he has. So it's a fantastic skill to have. I had to learn this the hard way, and I hope you guys don't have to. So learn how to negotiate, be smart in your discussions, and all the best.